Are you going first, Cassandra?
Yeah, sure. Then I can put Nut back in its pen.
Chubs. Chubs.
Yeah, I wanted to call it Chubbs because this is like the biggest gosling we've ever hatched. But the kids outvoted me. Its name's Nut, like peanut, but Nut for short.
The
Like
kids would.
the exact opposite of what this thing is. This thing hatched a monster, and you want to call it Peanut? The next one will be Chubbs.
You just switch it. Maybe the next one will be small and you can call it peanut.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll do a
So,
switcheroo.
Sebastopol geese, they say were bred from the gray leg geese in Europe, and they were actually named after the Russian city that first imported them into America. Um, they're a prime example of breeding for a specific trait or characteristic. So when they first started breeding them, they didn't have those really long curly feathers. And so over the years, they just kept breeding them until they got the plumage that they wanted on them. White's the most common color, and it's the only color accepted by the APA, but there is a lot of different varieties of color that you can get now. They're a medium weight goose, only weighing 12 to 14 pounds at maturity, and they're not the best egg layers. They only lay 25 to 35 eggs a year, but they're very quiet, friendly personality. They're not aggressive. Like Holder Reed had said, they're one of the least aggressive breeds. So they do make a really good pet or a free ranging goose if you have lots of people that come to your property, or kids or other animals. Like, they're not really going to go after anybody. They'll display, like they'll puff out their chests and spread their wings when strangers come around, or a coyote or a fox or something that shouldn't be in the yard. And they'll still alert, so they still scream, so the ducks know to get in under cover if they hear the geese. And our dogs know to run to the geese that are screaming because they know something that's not supposed to be there. So they can still work for like that alert system that lots of people want geese for, but they won't go after people, intruders, or anything like that. Um, they're in the threatened status, which partially has to do with not a lack of breeders, but because they have fertility issues. So they can be quite hard to successfully breed them. Sometimes, if you have full curlies, you have to uh, trim the curly feathers around their vents so that they can actually get the job done for males or females. And then when it comes to swimming water through the winter, they do need a little bit more than what a different breed of goose can get away with, because they do need to preen their feathers more often. But you also can't give them too much access to water. So they don't make the best kind of bird that you want to put, just say, on your pond. They're always going to have free access to the pond because they can get feather rot from having too much access to water. So it is kind of something that you have to judge with your own birds. Each bird's going to have a little bit different feather quality when it comes to the Sebastopols. So that's something you'll just have to monitor. And either way, if they're not having enough water or they're having too much water, their feathers are going to get really dingy and they're going to start breaking and fraying. And so you'll just have to play around until you find the right amount for your birds. Um, they do need a little bit more protection from the cold or the wind than other breeds. We've been working a lot with our original flock to make them more cold hardy. So even our full curly ones, that's with the curly chests, not the smooth chests. We've been improving their feather quality over the years so that they can tolerate our extreme winters. So we're on like generation 4, and they're doing much better. Last year, even when we dipped down into the minus 50 Celsius, they could still go outside with the ducks. They were just protected from the wind, but not the cold. They make really good broody birds, and they're rated as being adoptive parents. So even if your goose isn't broody, the Sebastopol breed is known to adopt young ducklings and goslings without having to be broody in order to do that. And we have done that here with geese that weren't broody, and we gave them some ducklings that we had taken in because their mother got killed anyways, and so we took them into our farm, but the geese took care of them. They live on average for 25 years, and if you go with a fully white genetics with no color carriers in them, you can auto-sex the goslings at hatch. So the females, this is why I have Nut with me. So the females will have gray on their backs and a little gray cap on their head. But colored Sebastopols will hatch like this, the boys and the girls. And so the boys of fully white will be all yellow, like her chest is. And colored Sebastopols, they'll usually have markings on their bills up close by their feathers, will be a darker color of bill, whereas the whites will mainly have the very light pink bill. And they can also have darker feet at hatch. I can't say for 100% that this one is actually a female and a white, because she come out of a flock that does have color. They are color carriers, so it could be a colored gander even. But I just wanted to show how you can tell with that gray plumage, those are going to be your females if it's from a full white flock, and the yellow ones will be your ganders. Sometimes the ganders will have really light markings of gray, but they won't be as dark as that one that I just showed you. And then the last thing is for breeding. Like I said, we bred to improve the feather quality. So how we did that is we've been breeding smooth-chested Sebastopol. So they just have the long draping curly feathers off of their wings and their backs and their bums. They don't have the curly chests. And we breed them to full curlies. So in our offspring, we'll get a split of 50-50. 50% of the goslings will be smooth-chested, and 50% will be full curlies. So then we keep the full curly goslings, and then we would breed them back to another smooth-chested through line breeding. Lots of people just breed full curlies to full curlies, and that's fine too. You'll get 100% full curly offspring. But if you notice, their feather quality is starting to decrease. Like we have one full curly that we started with, and she can't hardly even take our winters. Like her feathers will just snap right off. They're just way too weak. So she actually has to have a lot of winter protection. So if you have birds like that in your flock, I would advise working on their feather quality. But I mean, if people just want to breed full curlies, then that's your choice as well, especially if you're in a warmer climate. If you breed two smooth-chested together, you can end up with fully smooth Sebastopols, so they won't have any curly feathers at all. They would just look like a miniature Emden goose, which is still very cute, but most people want at least some of that long plumage. And yeah, that's basically what I had, and I'll let Heidi take it away, and I'll put Nut back in the pen.
Okay, so the Emden is the oldest goose breed in Germany, and that's where it originally came from, and it's believed to go back to the 13th century. It is traditionally one of the large white geese in that region, and they considered it the swan goose because of the way it holds its head and its neck. The Emden is the heaviest goose breed in Germany, and it weighs up to 12 kilograms and can reach a height of 1 meter. They are really fat birds, and they're meant for meat or egg layers. Like they can lay 50 to 60 eggs a year. The females will weigh in about 9 kilograms, and boys will be like 14, 15 kilograms. And I'm sure I've got one out there that probably weighs more than that. A few of them. Um, yeah, I've never eaten their meat. I don't want to. They're just not really my kind of thing. They're my pets more than anything. My guard goose. They aren't overly friendly geese. Like they will protect what's theirs, right? So if you're looking for something to kind of protect your duck flocks or whatever, I recommend getting an Emden because that's what they do. That's kind of their thing. They're all white and they can live up to 25 to 30 years. And the females, if you look at them when they're born and they or when they hatch, the females will be a darker color than the males. The males are more of a yellow color when they hatch than the females. So yeah, they're pretty cute. And they have blue eyes. Yeah, I think that's about it I had for Emdens. They eat a lot of grass. Look at my lawn.
But that's a good thing, though. If they can eat their grass, they're eating less feed.
Yeah, like the Emdens are supposed to be able to eat, what do they say, like 1 to 3 acres of grass every month to themselves. Like that's a lot for a small bird.
Yeah, it's like what, 25 pounds of grass or something like that that Canada geese eat. It's a lot
That's,
of that's a lot of grass.
that is like when you is that a month or is that
I think it's a week.
25 pounds of grass a week?
I think so. Yeah, I'll look it up right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of grass.
That is really crazy.
They eat per day 2.5 pounds.
Okay,
And
so they're
yours,
smaller than an Emden.
yeah, they're smaller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2.5 pounds. So your flock probably does eat 25 pounds a day.
Probably. My lawn sure says so. You can see it. My poor little lawn is out there. It's starting to turn green. And my geese are on that like a fat kid on a Smartie. Like it's crazy. Like yeah, I'm just like, guys, just let it grow. Let it grow. Okay, so Pilgrim geese. I am just getting into those. I've wanted them for years actually because they are on the rare and endangered list. There's not a lot of people that breed them, and they're like Sebastopols too because their fertility rate isn't the greatest. They're a quiet, light to medium sized breed. They were originated from Australia, is where they came from. Yeah, yeah, they live for 15 to 25 years. And the males are white and the females are brown. So when they're like one of the few geese that are actually auto sexing right at birth, like they have no issues being able to tell the males from females at all. Like I have babies out there, I'd go get them, but that's a long way to walk. They're bred for eggs and meat. Um, they grow pretty fast. They're easy to handle. Like they're pretty docile breed. Like they're so similar to Sebastopol that it's crazy how much they have in common. Like as far as like characteristic traits go. Um, yeah, like this is my first year with them, so we're just kind of winging it as we go. The ganders will weigh about 18 pounds, and the females will get to be about 16 pounds. Um, I don't know. I just think they're cute.
They are cute.
They are.
All geese are
Yeah,
cute.
they're. Oh yeah, they're adorable. That female I got from where I got them from yesterday, she is definitely darker than Blue is. Like you can see the difference. Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, they don't lay like out of 30 to 45 eggs that they lay a year, you might get, they said, like 20, 25 to hatch. Like it's not a great fertility rate with them, like 50%,
Yeah.
maybe. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think they're cute. They're my cuties. And Pomeranians. Right? Right.
Yeah, this one's mainly all you. You're the goose lady.
It'll be more so if I get the next one I'm after. Did I tell you? Jeremy said I can get Toulouse now.
Oh.
Do you know why? He wants to get one of those Dulap Toulouse geese
Oh,
because they're
yeah.
so chunky, and he wants to call it Moto Moto. And he says he's gonna follow it around singing that song to it. I like him chunky. So he said I'm allowed to.
That's free game then. You can't have
Yeah,
take backs with animals.
yeah. Like you can't tell me I'm not allowed to do something and just tell me I can't, right? Do it and then don't do it? No, yeah. All right. I'm gonna find my notes on Pomeranian Saddleback geese. I did like quick notes. Okay. They were only officially recognized as a breed since 1912, and they were originated in northern Germany. Um, there's a couple genetic uh, variations of them. There's like the buff Pomeranian Saddlebacks, and then there's the gray Pomeranian Saddleback. And it's the gray Pomeranian Saddlebacks that I have. Their average weight is about 16 pounds, and in one laying season, they can lay about 70 eggs. But there again, they have fertility issues too because over the years, there's been so many people that have been like for inbreeding and stuff that their fertility took a plummet from that. They're extremely noisy type of goose. Like they're really, really, really loud. So you can hear them from pretty much anywhere. They are a very colorful kind of goose. They have like a heart shaped kind of brown on their back, like it's a saddle that looks on their back, and then their head should be brown. And for the males, they should have pink bills, pink feet, and the females are supposed to have the orange bills and orange feet. If you can get them that color, a lot of people said they can't get them that color. And then they have blue eyes, and I don't know, they're really cute. But yeah, they're really, really, really loud. With sorry, I'm just trying to read through my notes.
Are they your loudest breed?
They are. They yeah, Jake, yeah, he's definitely my loudest male I have out there. Like anything that comes in the yard, you you know something's there because he sounds off and he's loud. Yeah, yeah, that's about all I have. I didn't have a lot of time to do notes. Yeah, so it was like a Toulouse cross with an Emden or whatever is what gave you the English graybacks. And then you've got the English graybacks and the buff backs and the American saddlebacks. And but they're all the Pomeranian bloodlines.
I never knew.
Yeah, just different ones, right? Like the buff ones are the ones that I was after. I was hoping to get some of them. I'm on a waiting list actually for a lady that's got buff ones. So
Did you see the picture that I shared of Goosey? I think I posted it in Duck Size Matter yesterday.
yeah,
Would she be a buff?
I think she's like one of those American buffs.
I don't know what she is. Somebody dumped her at a neighbor's house here, and I was like, I think that's a girl. Maybe Bert will be friends with her. I'm actually gonna try again tomorrow. Maybe they'll get along this time. Yeah.
American buff. She's cute.
She's cool. She's just like completely different from Bert. She doesn't like to be touched at all, but I can't blame her because her human just dumped her in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But she's not mean or anything like that.
She's pretty.
She is wicked pretty. She only makes noise like right now. She comes out of her house and like starts honking away because